The USFL Gambling Podcast preview of the playoffs and our picks and DFS episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. It's brought to you by Bird Dog Shorts. Yes, dominate the summer with an amazing pair of shorts and a free Yeti-style tumbler when you order over at birddogs.com/pool. Once again, that is birddogs.com/pool.
Hey, this is Bill Romanowski. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Football is a unique American experience. A game described by one turn-of-the-century critic as crude and barbaric, with little chance of survival. But survive it did.
I don't give a damn who you are. It's America, Jack. You know how to play Buenos Aires football?
Being played in the United States Football League.
We sometimes forget that football, being the consummate team sport, is a great deal more successful when you do play as a unit and don't rely on individual talent. Frankly, I'm impressed with the USFL.
America, this league is good for America, and football is a sport that is made for television.
That is football.
I'm like, spring football is going to work in America.
You play to win the game. And now it is time for our USFL report.
Boom! And we are back on the USFL Gambling Podcast, the United States Football League. Yes! And I am super excited because guys, throw away. Look, let's get done with all the bullshit here. This is the playoffs. This is the playoffs. The road to the Freedom Cup starts Saturday. All right. And look, I'm super excited. You're probably wondering just who the hell you're listening to. My name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
All the way to your house, and all you got for me is light beer.
And you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terrorist pussy. And I'm after you, buddy. You're gonna pay for it. Good night.
Yes, guys.
Playoff time.
Look, I don't care what anyone says. I'm more excited for this than the NFL playoffs. Call me hipster, Colby.
Yeah.
Call me. I just don't really care about this. This I'm interested. I want to see. You know, I want to see.
I don't think we have to compare. The NFL playoffs is pretty damn good in its own right. Even though I don't watch as much of the regular season as I used to, the playoffs deliver. But dude, they're not going up against each other, so it doesn't matter. Let's just enjoy the USFL.
I haven't been this excited for pro football. Is my point. All right, like what was it? The Bengals Rams Super Bowl. I could give a flying fuck about watching that game. All right,
and, you have to gamble on it, then you will.
Yeah, I had Super Bowl squares and everything. And guess what? I fell asleep after 4 whiskeys. All right. Look, I am joined by my co-host. Give it up for former JMU Duke defensive back, the burrito eating, sideline kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C in the place to be.
Hi-oh.
Yeah, I like this league better. I'm sorry. I am going to compare it, all right? And XFL fans, I'm coming for you next because we've had 5 kick returns in 10 weeks. Hey, guess what? The NFL had 6. They have 32 teams, and they play 18 weeks, and they had 6 all year. This is the best kickoff in pro football.
And how many of those kick returns were by an ex-USFL player, Kevontae Turpin?
True. Maurice Alexander and Kevontae Turpin. Maurice Alexander had one for the Lions. We are also joined by third man in the booth, fresh off of a fucking airplane. This guy's coming in hot. All right, he's coming in like fucking what's Michael Buffer over here? Give it up for the DFS god himself. Yes, we will be playing USFL DFS this episode. The rooftop IPA drinking, homebrew making, tobacco road living, the free lock giving, Former Herndon Basketball League MVP. Give it up for NC Nick in the place to be.
There we go. What's up, guys?
Speaking of the Rams.
I was more interested for that sound drop than the fucking Super Bowl 2 years ago. Guys, we made it. Year 2, regular season in the books. Skip Holtz was just named Coach of the Year. How do we feel about that?
Obvious choice.
I thought Ray Horton. We're going 1-9 with Kirby Wilson. Ray Horton, complete franchise turnaround to 4-6.
Yeah, it's always great to replace the person who was the worst coach ever. The only way they could have went was up.
And then they end up with the 1 seed, even though they were 4-6. If you don't look at the 4-6, you look at the 1 seed. They went from the worst team in the league to the best team in the North.
Worst to first.
Yeah, worst to first, baby.
It's like the MAC.
It is like the MAC. Pat, that's a perfect comparison. All right, that's a perfect comparison. Well, with the exception of the Stallions.
Well, the quality of football in the USFL North is about that of the MAC compared to the rest of college football.
Can we get the USFL on Tuesdays and Wednesdays? Is it possible?
When we add more teams, yes, I think so. So here we are, boys. We're in the playoffs. I think we're all pretty shocked that the Generals and Stars are at home. Patty C and NC Nick, the Showboat brothers, are pretty shocked that the Showboats are at home.
Showboat buddies.
Showboat brothers.
As soon as we put that together, they lost 2 games in a row and we're never heard from before.
Can we talk about this for 1 second before we dive into the 2 games in the DFS? So the same exact scenario happened a year ago, where Skip Holtz rested the starters going into the playoffs, but Todd Haley, after losing by 40 week 2, and Skip Holtz get into it at midfield, and Todd Haley's talking shit to him and says, "Oh yeah, well we're going to remember that when we play you next." Well, Skip Holtz, not easing in off the gas, keeps the starters, even though they didn't need that game by any means. It was going to be played in Birmingham one way or the other, with a nice fuck you behind it. I mean, this is how rivalries are born, guys. What do you make of Skip's decision in Memphis to keep the starters in and say, "Hey, well, I hope you remember this, old Todd Haley." Patty C, your thoughts?
Well, you know how rivalries are really born? When both teams win games, and that didn't happen this season. So this is not so much a rivalry, but an ass kicking that is happening repeatedly.
But and the funny thing is that it's not like his strategy last year didn't work. He rested the players, then they brought him back, and they won the whole thing. So, obviously looking at it, you're like, all right, he wanted to prove a point, and he went out and did that. It's a beautiful thing.
I mean, are we looking too far into it? Do you think that he actually did this on purpose as a fuck you? I think he probably did, because last year we had that same exact sample, and he's on his backup quarterback this year. So he could go to.
You know what? Maybe Todd Haley's revenge is not allowing them to rest their players prior to the New Orleans playoff game. They come in tired and they lose that one, and that's how he gets his revenge.
Haley's revenge. That sounds like something. I know there's a comet named after Haley, but Haley's revenge sounds like something.
Well, I mean, Skip's revenge would be, I think, Coach of the Year, so sitting on that wall next to his ECU championships.
Plus that bling from last year too.
Exactly. Yeah. Freedom Cups with Holtz. All right. Look, that's a show that needs to happen on this podcast platform at some point. All right. Before we get into both games, because we do got lines. We got lines and everything in this league. What does he say? Major League? We got uniforms and everything. I want to tell you that the USFL Gambling Podcast Playoff preview picks and DFS episode is brought to you by Bird Dogs. Bird Dogs make you look good. All right. Bird Dogs are stretch khaki shorts, and they're designed to fit slimmer through the thigh and leg, giving you a truly sculpted look. You're going to look like fucking Shark Dog. You put these on. I'll be honest. Put these on, you're going to look like Shark Dog. They fit way better than regular shorts, because regular shorts are made of that stiff, restricting cotton that we all hate. And you're just too bottlenose, too hard-headed to to consider a change, but you need to because Bird Dogs fixed this issue by inventing cloud knit fabric. You're going to be fucking hanging out with the angels. It looks just like khakis, but stretches so you get a way slimmer fit without having to sacrifice all that movement. Look, Bird Dog uses anti-stink sweat wicking fabric too. I mean, first they give you the other thing with the cloud knit fabric, and then you got the anti-sweat wicking fabric. As far as I'm concerned, you know, they should be involved with the fucking space program because, or the Titanic rescue program. But regardless, because if you're going down, you might as well smell good. All right. Look, the Bird Dog uses anti-stink sweat wicking fabric that keeps you cool and dry all day long and smelling good. All right. Like I said, Shark Dog fans, get over there. All right, go to birddogs.com/pool and enter that promo code POOL, POOL, for a free Yeti style tumbler with your order. They're just going to give you a tumbler. That's birddogs.com/pool for a free Yeti style tumbler. You won't want to take your Bird Dogs off. We can promise you that. All right, we are back on the USFL Gambling Podcast. And
now you might not want to take your Bird Dogs off, but a lot of ladies might want to take them off.
Hello.
You start wearing them.
It's true. It's
just
true.
Just saying.
Just ask Jim McMahon. All right.
You know, is Bird Dog like the transfer portal of shorts? All that movement, all that mobility.
It is. It's like you could say it's like the Memphis Showboats. They could play in Tampa one year, Memphis the next year. You know what I mean? They're all about it. All right. Guys, we got two games. Only one. This is what's interesting. Not only is Skip Holtz Coach of the Year, they're the only team really playing a true home game this whole USFL playoffs. Yeah, I know the Maulers hub was Canton, but the drive from Detroit and the drive to Pittsburgh, I think pretty similar to Canton, Ohio. But Saturday, June 24th, the road to the Freedom Cup continues on NBC. 5 o'clock Pacific time, 8 o'clock. So it's prime time. All right. Take your Unsolved Mysteries or whatever the fuck is CSI, fucking Miami, whatever it is. Get it out of here because we're watching United States Football League, baby.
Prime time.
Yes, prime time. And I know Dion's about to have major surgery, but we wish him the best too. And Michigan Panthers taking on the Pittsburgh Maulers at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. See, that's what's hilarious about these two games is that there's only one real home field. I'm shocked that the Panthers, who we all had, I did not have them 10th. I had them 9th. But NC Nick and Patty C, I think multiple weeks of them have being 10th in the league. So I will throw a little slander at them. The Panthers are in the playoffs. They're alive. And they went with a different quarterback last week, which was one of the more unbelievable performances because they were awful on offense. And they won.
Right.
You guys catch those the stats from the Stars Maulers game?
I watched the whole game. I had money on the Stars, and I just saw them just completely fall apart. Now, a lot of it was injuries. Obviously, they came in with Colburn hurt, then the backup running back, what's his name?
Dexter Williams.
Dexter Williams got hurt. They were on Jameis Williams, Sunbelt legend, shout out to Georgia State, but he was just signed like 5 days before, and then Corey Coleman got hurt in the late in the first half, and that just made it so they couldn't open up that offense whatsoever. But I'm making excuses.
Yes. I mean, I thought Bart Andrus actually did a terrible job coaching. The fake punt, when you know this offense, when you know this Michigan offense, by the way, which finished for the game with 205 yards total, right? Which is that might be the lowest all year, by the way, in the USFL, right? And you try a fake punt.
That's awful.
You had the lead and you try a fake punt. You coffin corner that thing and you make them earn a first down, which they didn't do all fucking day.
Or why don't you just go for it? Go for it on fourth down.
I think you punt because you have the lead and this team sucks on offense.
Either way, like every week I'm just so befuddled the lack of coaches wanting to go for it on fourth down. Same thing with the Gamblers. Yeah. The Gamblers had a chance. They punted away like under 2 minutes. You're like, what are you doing? They're like at the 50-yard line. Like, even if you don't get it, well, then you have your 2 timeouts and you might get the ball back one more time. Just all season long, the lack, the unwillingness of coaches to go for it on fourth down is just remarkable.
Well, you guys are both sitting here taking a dump on these coaches, and Mike Nolan went balls to the wall and brought in a new quarterback for the final game of the season with the playoffs on the line. And what was the difference? His mobility. He had a rushing touchdown despite his otherwise shitty statistical day, and they got the win.
The difference,
and they're in the playoffs.
That's all that matters.
No, the difference was the special teams coach is a fucking incredible. And what was the special teamer who blocked the punt for a touchdown? I'm drawing a blank right now.
I forget his name.
But look, I'm not giving any credit to Perry. All right. I mean, come on, dude. That guy, he fumbled the touchdown. Even the touchdown was a fumble. No.
And let's not pretend he's like Michael Vick out there either.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a little bit of wheels, I guess. I mean, he's not like he's not fast. He could move around a little bit. But
the alternative is Josh Love. He does look like Michael.
I'm sorry, I disagree though. Josh Love's better. If Michigan wants to win this game, Josh Love needs to start.
I don't know, because they've had a couple cracks with Josh Love, and they haven't been able to score in double digits in 2 games against the Maulers.
He can complete a pass, man. They had Eric Barriere on this team, and they decided to cut him, and the Generals signed him. This guy started like a game or 2 last year and looked all right. Well, I don't understand what's going on here.
Let me tell you this. Now that E.J. Perry is the starting quarterback for Michigan, they are mirror images of each other, because Troy Williams and E.J. Perry have similar stat lines, and they're both defensive juggernauts. Tizzino on Pittsburgh is the equivalent to Ginda on Michigan. Look, we're watching true defensive Northern football.
In general, my fear with this weekend is that I think there's a couple obvious plays. And, maybe the obvious play might hit once, but probably not twice. But so I'm going Maulers here. I'm hoping there's some differences between us. But yeah,
hold on. The line is 3.
I'm sorry.
Maulers are a 3-point favorite. The total's 38. The Panthers are plus 135 on the money line. I'm going Maulers too, and that's what Nick's alluding to here. But I'm terrified of this game more than the other one. The reason why I'm terrified is because for some reason Ray Horton never goes for it on 4th and inches, and for some reason, multiple games this year they've just said, "Hey, Troy Williams, let's throw it 35 times." All right, and that has been the games they've lost because turnovers happen, and when turnovers happen, the Maulers are not built to come from behind.
For sure.
So to me, if they were to call hiking down the ball on offense the entire game, I think the Maulers would win this game, because I think the Maulers are I don't think the Panthers will have any offense. Last time they played, Reggie Corbin, I think, had 12 yards rushing against Pittsburgh. And then you got Perry. I keep wanting to say A.T. Perry, the wide receiver from Wake.
E.J., is that what it is?
E.J. Perry. E.J. Perry is going to be, like I said, unless they go Love, because at least Love can stretch the field a little bit. I know he throws picks left and right. I don't see them. The only way that they lose this game is if Ray Horton botches this and they throw the ball more than they should.
So the line, though, is Pitt by 3, though, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So you're worried about that? I feel like, based on the previous 2 games, 23-7, 19-7, and everything you just said about Pittsburgh only losing to teams that have offensive weapons and Michigan not really having any of those, they don't have to worry about playing catch up. They can play the ground control game and they'll be just fine. I feel like this is a lock that Pittsburgh covers.
No, this is the one that I'm worried about, because Pittsburgh, I can count on the Stallions to not shoot themselves in the foot.
Right.
The Maulers have been. Remember, I bought a future on them in week 3, and then I was like, after that, I was like, man, that was a mistake. Now this thing might plus 2,200, by the way. But at the same time, they have been a mystery all year, from 4th and inches punting to them throwing when they go 5 wide. There was multiple games. Me and Stacking the Money Green were talking about this. We were watching some games during the week here, and it's like they go 5 wide, empty backfield with Troy Williams. When you see that happen, you're like, Pittsburgh's going to lose because that's not their game. But yet they've done that multiple times, and they in my opinion, they've got their ass kicked those games, or they find ways to lose those games.
Well, I think in general, when you have that bad of an offense, your margin of error is a whole lot slimmer. And Pittsburgh is the type of team that you want to take as a dog. Yeah, it's only 3 points, but still, I mean, this is, they easily cleared that in the first 2 games, but this is going to be low scoring. So, yeah, I don't feel great about this.
No, I feel decent about it, but if there's one I'm going to eat shit on, it's this one. It's not the other one. It's not the other one. It's this one because Pittsburgh has been a mystery team on off. Like Ray Horton, as much as I think he's done, I can't confidently say because of their offensive play calling and the fact they refuse to play Madre London and play that white stiff that Patty C's happy because he had a big game with 33 yards last week.
And look, Michigan plays great special teams and a pretty good defense also. So, yeah, I think I feel better about the Stallions also.
Yeah. So look, I'm on the Maulers. I will lay the 3. I'm locking up the under because there's no way this is going past 38.
Again, though, pretty obvious, right? But I'm still on the under.
They're 9-1, 8 like they're what? Or I think I saw. No, 8-1-1.
Okay.
Depending on where you got the line at, either 8-1-1 or 9-1, right? Either way, I can't. The only way they break 38 is if we see
turnovers,
the empty
returns,
the 5 wide empty set, Troy Williams pick or strip sack, and then EJ Perry is throwing turnovers left and right. That's the only way. I mean, am I crazy? Are we all on the under?
You got to. Sorry, you got to. Patty C, tell us otherwise. No.
Well, I'm not going to tell you otherwise, but I am going to give you a little confidence in terms of Pittsburgh's offensive approach that should make you feel confident in taking that and locking that, is that they hadn't had a rusher outside of the quarterback position go over 40 yards, if I'm not mistaken, for the first 6 weeks of the season. And then boom, the last 4 weeks, we have a running back going over 40 yards. They're starting to lean on that, figure that out. I'm not saying they're busting, they don't have Mark Thompson back there, but you get Garrett Groshek 53 yards versus what he was doing. They kind of did fit. And Madre London went over 50 yards.
No.
Whoever
London
is
better than Groshek. Give London the reps. You fucking
neither
whore.
one is great. Neither one is great.
No. I refuse to have them compared to be the same. Madre London is way, way better than Garrett Groshek. They're not comparable to me.
Well, yeah. Let me tell you what. I would agree with you based on what I've seen in the USFL, but I thought Garrett Groshek was, had potential coming into it based on what I'd seen him do at Wisconsin. And
you saw that.
That offense that they run, I saw it. It bottles, the running backs up. And while what's his name Madre London is able to create his own yardage a little bit, Garrett Groshek, that's not his forte. But if you give him a hole and give him a head of steam, he is a hard guy to take down.
Either way, they're going to give the guys about 10 carries each, okay? Yeah. And that's what they've been doing every game.
That's the mystery. That's the mystery. It's like, wait, Madre London, if you gave him 20 carries, he could look closer to – I'm not saying he would ever be Mark Thompson, but he's, I think, a solid back. Instead, they bring in this stiff that does nothing correct, but just he's Tim Worley 2.0 here, all right?
Like we've been talking about it all year. It's almost a moot point because I don't think they're going to steer away from that just because they're in the playoffs now. That every game, it's been fairly equal touches.
All right, let's jump to the other one. Sunday. We got now this one's great for the rivalry, man. This was a repeat of the South Division Championship a year ago. New Orleans break 1-2s take it on the Birmingham Stallions on Fox. 4:00 Pacific time, so 7:00 Eastern. This game's fire. All right, this game is fire, but I feel confident about this because you know what? The Breakers offensive performance in the past 2 weeks, despite winning, they might be red hot right now, despite them looking like complete ass on offense. Here's what I know: Birmingham simplifies the game. And that is why Mago is so good. That is why Marible's so. And I heard Scarborough might go. If that's true, goodbye. But yeah, I feel pretty confident about this one. I will lay the 3 with the Stallions. The Breakers offense is not consistent enough to really even. I know the last time they played, Birmingham only won by 4, and I know New Orleans beat them the first time. I just can't get New Orleans' rushing attack has gone away. They can't run the ball. Stallions -3. Lock it up. This is my lock. I'm also going to play the under on the 44.5. I don't think the Breakers offense will be able to do it. I think the Stallions and John Chavis dialing up that defense. The Breakers are plus 130 on the money line if you want to buy into the Breakers offense, but I'm all over the Stallions. Nick, what are you doing here?
Well, I'm glad these two teams are meeting because I think they're the most talented two teams in the league, especially on offense. Probably the best 2 quarterbacks. I think Case Cook belongs in the conversation. But Birmingham has been by far and away the most consistent team all year long. You look at New Orleans, started off strong, running the ball really well. They went through a mid-season slump where I think they lost at least 3 games in a row, if not 4. I think it's just 3 games in a row. Because they're 7-3, obviously. Ended strong, but can they be trusted? I don't know. But yeah, I'm with you. I think just the Stallions, man. The Stallions come through for us every time. It's my lock as well. But one difference, I'm going with the over because I think both of the offenses, both of the passing games can click. Both teams will be in the 20s. I expect a nice matchup down the stretch. Stallions pull it out and get that cover for us.
24-20, the under still hits, buddy.
I'm saying 27-21. Stallions win.
Patty C, what are you doing here on Fox Sunday?
Well, let me tell you what. 2 of Wes Hills' top 4 rushing performances of the year have come against Birmingham. I think he runs through that. They maybe they're a little soft in the trenches, Birmingham. We're not paying attention to that. Sure, one was early in the season when they were a little dinged up, but he still went for 77 the second time around, and they kept it within 4 points. And they whooped them the first time around. I think you guys are crazy to sit here and think that this is a lock. I think New Orleans has demonstrated thoroughly that they're capable of beating Birmingham. So I'm very worried about Birmingham in this game. And I think, while I have to favor them because I think they're the best team in the league, I'm not nearly as confident. Pittsburgh, to me, seems like the much safer bet.
Really? You're a maniac.
But you do agree with the Stallions.
Yeah. I mean,
and what about the over/under?
I got to go over 2. I mean, I think that the one game that's gone under between this was by a half point, 24-20, like Colby alluded to earlier. But
this is like to make or break the season. That's what I'm saying. I actually think
the defenses will be a little tougher.
Yeah, if you're looking at that from that point of view, but I mean, the Breakers scored 17 last week and were terrible on offense. The week before they scored 31, but they had I think it was 2 defensive touchdowns.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So they didn't.
That's the showboat game. That's the showboat buddies game.
Yeah. I don't know. I if anything, the Breakers offense has me super concerned. And that's why I think Birmingham beats them.
Well, I mean, likewise with Wes Hills, McLeod Bethel Thompson also had 2 of his bigger games passing the whole season. I want to say his number 2 and number 3 passing outputs of the season came against Birmingham in terms of yardage. So I don't think they have the answer to stop either one of those. I think the balance may throw a monkey wrench into Birmingham's defense there.
Chances are turnovers are very important. I think New Orleans probably commits at least 2 turnovers. I think Birmingham wins the turnover battle, and that's going to be a major factor in them winning the game.
Yeah, true. I think Alex Mago, he made a turnover once.
Yeah, and McLeod Bethel Thompson was a pretty much a sure bet to throw a pick there for every game.
Oh yeah,
it seemed like for the whole season.
And Wes Hills has had problems holding onto that ball too.
It's just all coming that way, folks. Look. These games are both great. I'm super excited to watch both of them. But this is time for the DFS. All right, the DFS portion of the show. But before I get to that, I want to tell you that the USFL Gambling Podcast Playoffs Preview Picks and DFS episode is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Best Ball Mania is here, and Underdog Fantasy is giving away $15 million in prizes. And Underdog Pick'em is a great way to get down on your favorite MLB and college baseball player props. Look, I'm watching the game right now. And also, they do USFL fantasy football. How great is that? So you need to check all that out. All right. There's so many ways to win on Underdog, and it's active in so many different states. Head over to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use that promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. All right, guys, it's that DFS time. The other day, I guess it was 2 weeks ago when, dude, I had a top 50 going into Sunday. I think I was like in the top 30 in the world, right? And Patty C witnessed this. I had a chance. Yeah. I could have pivoted because I saw them cut Laletta and have DeAndre Johnson. But I had to go to Pro Cup, and for some strange reason, after a very impressive performance, Mike Riley said, hey, you're not going to play the rest of the season, right? But I doubled down on Pro Cup. I kept him in there. I was like, no one else is going to have him in their lineups. And he didn't play. So I pissed away, but damn was I close. I didn't have – I'm telling you, that was a roster that was built for number one, and Mike Riley let me down. So
well, you had Hicatini, who was averaging or cost you $2,000, dropped 20 some odd points, and the Maulers defense dropped 20 points. We were like 10 minutes into the day, and you'd already
some would say I'm a sharp. And both those teams are in the playoffs, so it's like I forecasted this. Guys, at quarterback, I'm curious, what did you do? Because I went with the best player in the league, Alex Mago, $12,200. Do I need to play the music?
You play that funky music
for all of us.
Music, white boy.
All right, look. In case you wanted to turn in a lineup without that, what would you? Since everyone's gonna go with Mago,
Bethel Thompson.
It's not Troy Williams. I was thinking maybe Troy Williams.
In general, I think it's gonna be smart to get players in the Sunday game, not the Saturday rock fight of a game. So I think Bethel Thompson's a decent pivot off of Mago. Especially if New Orleans is down and can't run the ball, he could have 30 some odd attempts through the air. So my second play would be Bethel Thompson, but you don't want to get quarterback position wrong. That's why I think you go Magoo.
We all got him. Okay, well, my top running back, I only went with two running backs. What'd you guys go with?
Uno.
One?
I went with two.
Okay.
And you're gonna criticize me, and you may be right. So let's go.
That definitely means he's going with the White Wonder. All right. I am going. My top guy is CJ Marable at $9K.
Play the music.
I considered it, but I changed.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I like it. All right, Patty C, who is your top running back?
Well, I just said, hey, this guy has when I looked up those stats and saw that he had gone off on Birmingham twice, kind of. I went with Wes Hills, league's leading rusher.
That's what's amazing about this league is he hasn't had like a 50-yard game in like 6 weeks.
He had a couple of monster performances like week 2, week 3 though, man.
He was able to hang on. But look, Wes Hills, maybe you're right. He had 2 successful games against the Stallions. Maybe that is all the difference, and you will be bringing home cash for the first time in your life in DFS. My second running back, so NC Nick's only got one. So my second running back, I am going with Madre London because, God damn it, at 4.8K. And he blocked a punt for a touchdown recently.
I don't think that's worthy of any fantasy points, but good job.
Hey, Ray Horton, please give 1-800-PICK-DUNDE a call because he is way better than anyone on your offense. Anyone on your offense. Like, just please trust me. Give him the ball a little bit. More than 10 carries. All right.
Well, I double checked, and he has 3.8 yards per carry, which is respectable, I guess, versus Groshek's 2.7. But this is not about who's more talented. It's about who Horton's going to feed the ball to more and be because he's a dumbass, he's going to feed it to Groshek more. So I'm taking Groshek.
Ray Horton.
I love it.
He did play in the NFL in the 1970s where John Riggins and God knows what other white running backs were.
Larry Zonka.
Yeah, Larry Zonka. He's like, Zonka won Super Bowls in Miami. Riggins won Super Bowls with the Redskins. And you know what? We're going Groshek. What was Groshek's pay? What was his pay?
I think Groshek was either $100 cheaper or $100 more expensive. It was basically negligible difference there. I had extra money, so I could afford either one. But just while I should probably go London, especially because he's got actual big play ability. So if by chance he gets past the line of scrimmage, he could take it. Just for shits and giggles, I'm going Groshek to prove a point.
Yeah, I love this battle that we got going. NC Nick, who's your top wideout since you don't have a second running back?
Well, I am leaning heavily into the Stallions, and I'm going to go with the most expensive receiver because I think people will be scared of putting that kind of money down on Davion Davis because he is big-time boomer bust. I mean, he has 2 games. In the last 3 weeks, for example, he has a game 9 for 114, a game 4 for 120 and a touchdown, and a game 3 catches for 24 yards. So, hey, man, it's the playoffs. I'm here to win. I'm going to roll the dice with a home run hitter like Davis, and I think Birmingham has a big offensive output come Sunday.
Ooh, I like it. Patty C, what do you make of his take on – I'm on Birmingham having a big day too, so I just didn't take him because I didn't have that money. Patty C?
How much did Davis cost?
$9,400.
Big spender over here. But Magoo's got to give the ball to someone. So I mean, and the flip side of New Orleans getting some points on Birmingham is Birmingham did the same to New Orleans. So look for a shootout there.
All right. Well, look, my top wideout is a guy that's coming on. He's coming around. I expect Birmingham to be up 7, 10, 14, 21. Johnny Dixon is a guy that has really emerged lately. And I would even argue that's like his number 1 now. It's not Surratt. It's not Jay Adams. It's Johnny Dixon. So I'm going Johnny Dixon to have a huge game in Birmingham at $8,900. Patty C, does any of you guys have my guy Johnny
Negative.
Dixon? No, okay.
That's a negative, although that's a huge boom play if he hits. He's
have you
shown
seen his stats the past couple of weeks? This guy.
Well, he had a very, very quiet week 10.
Didn't he score a touchdown though?
I thought week 8 and 9 he blew up.
I thought he scored a touchdown last week though. No.
What did he do last week? I thought he had a quiet day. 3 for 60 and a touchdown. You know what? I was thinking week 9 where he went 1 for 7.
Yeah, 3 for 60 and a touchdown. Sign me up for that. That's worth $8,900 right there. All right, so let's go.
Yeah.
Patty C, who's your top wideout?
My most expensive wideout, and actually my highest fantasy production average wideout, is not a wideout at all. It's a tight end. It is one Jace Sternberger from the Birmingham Stallions.
Play the music.
I got him too. You know I'm not. This guy is the best player on the whole fucking team. No, you got Mago, number 1. Number 2 is Sternberger. I get a text from Stacking the Money Green every week saying Sternberger should be in the NFL. Right?
Stacking the Money does love his tight ends, right?
Yeah, he does love his tight ends. And Sternberger at 7,700. So, look, I don't know where that puts me then. I feel like I only have defense and one other player to give away. Patty C, what do you have to give away?
I've got 2 receivers to give away. Well, and a running back.
Yeah.
But I kind of already gave them away.
Yeah, you got the great white pile of shit, and that is I'm joking, Groshek, but yeah.
Merrill Hodge reborn. He went off in the playoffs in 1990 against the Denver Broncos.
Merrill Hodge reborn.
Garrett Groshek is going to channel his inner Merrill Hodge and go off.
Dude, this guy he's like Rick Fenny reborn. All right. He's not if you know that, if you know who Rick Fenny is, DM me at the Colby D. We'll send you a gift card to the SGPN merch store.
There you go.
All right, but you can't Google this. And if you do, it's
honor code, bitch.
Honor code. If you know who Rick Fenny is, DM me, and we'll send you a gift card at the Colby D on Twitter. So we know you have Groshek. Okay, so now tell me your second highest price receiver, Patty C.
Second highest priced wide receiver is Trey Quinn. He has been a staple of my lineup all year long.
Why would you roster him when Perry's throwing the ball? You're hoping Love is starting, huh?
Well, I mean, maybe, but look, Perry would have been, we kind of jumped out of that segment, but he's got a little bit of value. 17 fantasy points last week, despite the lack of statistical production. For whatever reason, he calculates well as a producer for $8,000. 17 fantasy points is more than McLeod Bethel Thompson averages, if I'm not mistaken.
Wait. That's against Philly. He's playing the best defense in the league. Enter at your own risk. Okay. Well,
he's going to need someone to throw to, and a little white guy in the slot, Trey Quinn. I mean, that's your play all year. To throw it underneath.
No, that's why you want Love. I think this is a terrible play. That's why you want Jordan. If Josh Love is starting, if he plays, then I think you're onto something. But if Perry's in, I think he's got zero chemistry with Trey Quinn. I think it's a disaster play.
Patty C, how many white guys have you played so far?
Yeah. What are you really trying to tell us?
Let's see. Mago, and I got one more lined up for you guys. So
Sternberger, Quinn, Groshek.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
You want me to give you my last one while we're at it?
No. I still got two guys left. So it's
you're a big Jerry Jones guy, aren't you?
Patty C, keep the listeners in suspense. All right. So I've given two receivers. I have two left. And for those that have been paying along, I've played 4 straight Stallions. Maybe it's about time I switch it up a little bit. I do want pieces of the New Orleans passing attack. The only guy I can afford is probably their fourth target, and that is Lee Morris. But he's got back-to-back games with 3 catches. I do expect them to be behind and passing a lot. So Lee Morris.
He was a great pitcher for the Detroit Tigers in the 80s. But enter at your own risk there. Man, you guys are all – I'm going to fuck you guys up on this DFS line. Hold on, Patty C. How many more receivers do you have? We know you have –
I got one left.
Okay, I only have one left. And
same here.
Okay, here we go.
Go Colby.
Okay. At $3,000 is Ishmael Hyman. Troy Williams, look, I have no faith in Ray Horton saying we're just going to down the ball. I think they're going to open up and go 5 wide, which makes me paranoid. So Ishmael Hyman, though, will probably have a good fantasy day, and the Maulers will probably lose by 20 because of this approach. At $3K, I think he's not a crazy there's not a crazy angle here. I got $500 to spend, by the way. I could go grab another guy at $3,500, but I think Hyman is the guy. Patty C, who's your final wideout?
Well, I'm taking a page from the book of Colby Dant here, and I'm surprised you're not going this route. We got for even cheaper, $2,500 at one Cole Hicatini.
Play the music.
I don't want Hicatini unless I know Love is playing, but I will play the music for you. Look, Hicatini's on. He's out of bounds. With Perry in the game.
Well, to Colby's point, I mean, the week 8, week 9, he had 5 for 27 on 6 targets and 6 for 80 and a touchdown on 7 targets. Last week, goose egg on 1 target. So there is cause for concern, but
that's against the Stars defense.
Right.
Defense is way better.
But
let me tell you what, you have Hicatini dick energy. Okay.
Is that a good thing?
No, it's not. Well, I guess I would have that because I'm the one who's playing them, but whatever.
But really, for me, I only had $2,500, so I needed the cheapest thing on the board, and he's definitely been the most productive guy at that low price point.
You guys, I'm gonna whoop your guys' ass. All right, defense. Well, for some reason, the Maulers were the second cheapest. Did you guys understand
I have no idea why Birmingham and New Orleans are the 2 most expensive. Yeah. So play the music again. I have the Maulers.
$3,900. Patty C. Yeah. Okay.
Triple down.
And that's our show.
Boom.
No one's caring about the value of the defenses in DFS. They haven't checked since week 3. And, yeah. All right. We're excited for the Freedom Cup. And we love the United States Football League. So please, if maybe someone is listening from the United States Football League, the USFL, because you never know when you go out into the airwaves. I once had a DM from Mike Leach telling me that he was fond of our work, right? You never know when you put it out in the universe. All right, so Daryl Moose Johnson, if you are listening to this, you're doing a good job.
Keep it up.
Next year, put the teams in the markets, and we're good, and maybe even expand to the Washington Federals and maybe some other teams. But the Feds need to be in there, and the Gunslingers, and the Invaders, and the Denver Gold, and Tampa Bay. I love Bandit Ball back, but hey. Folks, we appreciate you. And look, we are going to be tweeting live at USFL Gambling. Give us a follow because we are excited for the weekend. All right. The road to the Freedom Cup gets started in Canton, in Birmingham. And then the championship game next week in Canton on NBC. Cannot wait. Folks, give us a follow, as I said. And we're also on YouTube. You can watch this show, youtube.com, and then type in USFL Gambling. Give Patty C a follow on Twitter at PattyC831. Give NC Nick a follow on Twitter at NC__NICK. Shout out to NC Nick. He hops off of an airplane to do, he actually got in a fight over a cab and said, I got a USFL podcast to do. And
get the fuck out of my way.
Yeah, and
that poor old lady that I pushed to the curb.
That pregnant poor old lady.
Just for your entertainment, people out there, appreciate it.
The lengths we go.
Yeah, she must be Moose Johnson's wife. So look, anyway, give NC Nick a follow. I'm on Twitter at DColbyD. We love the USFL, and we hope this continues on because this is fantastic, and I'm excited for Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
This is the USFL Gambling Podcast. You better start thinking about yours, and we out of here.
No.